Hello, my name is Hope Moore. This is my final project. It is a civil rights resource page. And first, I'm going to start my presentation on the home page. I created this page for both educators and my students. Often, students will ask me for sources, quick sources that they can find, and credible sources. Since there's such an explosion of information on the internet, I wanted to, when I got this, when we got assigned this project, I was very interested in creating a resource page because in this way I felt that I can start with the civil rights movement, and then as my teaching went on in terms of teaching different topics within the diversity field, I could add tabs as I went along. And so this first page is talking essentially about what individuals can see when they view the different tabs. So I provide, a picture of myself and an introduction to my page. And wherever possible, I try to use direct quotes from a lot of the historic leaders of the civil rights movement, just because I just thought it would be inspiring and give my page a type of visual interest. I also um, try to use most of my text as in black, so that it would complement the background page, because I wanted most of my colors to be muted. Um, and so because I knew that I was going to be using a lot of black and white photos, which would have been indicative of the 60s, 50s and 60s. And so I didn't want the background to compete against the black and white photos. So that's my home page. The historical moments page is basically a page that talks about historic moments within the civil rights movement. At the top of every page, I try to give an introduction to the page and what visitors can actually view on the page. And so here I was able just to find some resources like a YouTube video of Rosa Parks talking about the day she gave up her, or the day that she refused to give up her seat on the bus. We often refer to Rosa Parks as the mother of the modern day civil rights movement. And so also I want to provide video recordings, like this is Dr. Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech on the cap at the Lincoln Memorial. And this was back in 1963. So a lot of these photos were great because I was able to find both video and photos of the time. So people can get a real sense of what that time in history was like. And so I wanted to provide really primary sources for individuals to come to the page, visit the page, and see, Lyndon B. Johnson, the signing of the civil rights legislation, the March on Washington, different speeches. And so this way, I want to just, give an overview of what that time period was like. And if we look at historic leaders, this is a page that I featured three historic leaders: Mahatma Gandhi, Dr. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks. So I first provide background information on these three leaders of the civil rights movement. Even though Mahatma Gandhi, he was more of an Indian civil rights movement, but we see that successive civil rights movement took their inspiration from Mahatma Gandhi and his fight for civil rights for the independence of India. And so these here, I just provide links to various topics about the historical leaders. And then my last page is a relevant internet site. I wanted to include this information because there's other civil rights struggles within the United States that I thought students and educators would want to have featured in terms of information that they can go to and get information on other civil rights struggles, like the gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgendered, and questioning individuals. That these were different resources I wanted to provide to that population, or individuals who were looking for information about the LGBTQ movement, or activities or prominent people. Same thing with the women's suffrage movement and gender equality. So I want to also provide those types of resources talking about the women's suffrage movement, the fight for civil rights for women, equal pay for equal work, those type of resources. So here, which was a page that I found on pbs.org, uh, as a link to the various resources about the women's rights movement. And so this is a page I often use with students, because within this page is another resources page. And it gives a list of resources like different books that individuals may want to use, or links to other sites, organizations with other sites. And so I thought in this way it would be a very valuable resource to provide links from my actual pages to links outside of my pages that were relevant, that individuals could find more information on topics of interest. I learned a lot in for this particular assignment. Hand coding and Dreamweaver did well. Dreamweaver for me was crucial, because oftentimes I had in my mind a design element or how I want my page to look, but it was very difficult for me to envision that. Once I started using Dreamweaver, then I could envision how I wanted things to appear and in what order on the page. And so it became, at first it was overwhelming, and then it became easier as I became more familiar with Dreamweaver. And so I think I was able to create a page that was clean and professional looking and crisp. And with the help of the Dreamweaver tutorial and platform, I think I got very close to my design document. So in this particular assignment, I learned a lot about coding, and and learned that it's a lot of detail work, and you have to pay very close attention to how you're coding your page, and the appropriate coding language. And so I think right now my page is about, I'd say, 90% complete. I really need to go back and maybe think about changing the links to maybe a like historical moments page, like in terms of these links that are on the page, instead of having them outlined in black, maybe changing them to a brighter color, like maybe a red or a bright red, so they stand out for the visitor when they visit the page, and so those become apparent as links. But all in all, I had a great time designing my page, and I think I was successful in creating the page for both myself, students, and other educators. Thanks so much.